Bobby Chaffee.
We do have this nice little format that we try to follow every week. We don't usually follow it.
And Rodney Rodriguez.
Entertainment. Tell me something. I need to know something other than what I'm seeing.
Y'all ready? All right, here we go. Here's Bobby and Rodney.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard the...
Yeah, that time again. Happy Monday, everybody. This hashtag Real Race Talk. We are the Revved Up Sports Show. I have a echoing headset, but everything else seems to be good. Showtime. Bobby Chaffee's down south. I'm up north. I'm Rodney Rodriguez. Easter weekend, Bobby. It was weird. It was kind of a quiet weekend for a change of what we've been accustomed to lately.
National schedule was pretty quiet, but for the most part, it was a really quiet weekend from the national stuff. Although not so quiet there at the Palace of Power, Houston Motorsports Park, kicking off their 2021 season. So it was nice to be around a good group of friends and racing family down there for the holiday weekend. But show ended up pretty early. I was able to drive back home, 3-hour drive or so to get back in time to see the Easter Bunny on Sunday morning.
Great night indeed. Great crowd. I got to tell you, really good crowd with everything. I was really concerned there with weather for a little bit, what was going to come about with that. So, so super happy with the way that all worked out. You never know with those first night. There's always gremlins and stuff that's going to pop up. But I think when it was all said and done, it was a good night. Obviously, looking for more car count in the weeks to come. You got a month, so. Let's get them out. Let's get them rolling. Let's get some trucks out there. Need them bad. Yeah,
they're a little light in the trucks, but another good crowd of the modifieds. Modifieds have shown up all last year and even into this year, so it was good to see them be the show that they normally have been accustomed to being. So I like that.
Speaking of trucks, at 6:30, we will talk to the winner, defending champion there, and he does it once again, and he does it in fine fashion. We talk to the showstopper Jake Wright, and then at 7 o'clock, a big show that you'll be a part of, Bobby. We get the sprints are headed over. The Southern United Sprints are headed over to Texana. So we'll talk to Randy Waller. We've had him over on the Saturday show on the Horn, 11 a.m. And we'll talk to him. And then you got sprints at Heart of Texas. Now we're back and clicking once again.
Yeah, now we're back and clicking. Good show with the ASCS Elite Non-Wing Sprint cars coming to Heart of Texas on Friday night. And you got the Southern United Sprints pulling a doubleheader, which you will. Realistically, they're running to Edna down at Texana Raceway Park this weekend. And then next weekend, they'll be up at Cotton Bowl pulling a two-stepper there with Edna and Cotton Bowl. So looking forward to it. Should be a good show. The sprint cars always seem to put on a good show down there at Cotton Bowl. Or at Edna too, both really.
Yeah, and we got to see one over at Houston. Came out and did a couple of hot laps out there. I was really hoping that they were going to lay into the gas right there and really give the fans a little peek at what could happen right there. And of course, I said it there, and it was a thunderous ovation there. And I'd love to see us be able to get to put a race together there for them, but obviously that was just for show right there. But I think it's going to be a fantastic weekend of racing. As now we're really getting into that groove right now, where we're going to be having cool shit happening just about every weekend.
Yeah, all the big shows should be starting to happen with your big touring series. Heart of Texas has already had a couple of great big touring series come through there with the DFW late models and a couple of the other sprint car series. So now the dirt tracks are getting in the groove a little bit. It'd be nice to see some stuff happening this weekend. So all good things coming to a head here right when the season gets kicked off. Looks like there's going to be a lot of really good local short track racing popping up, and then the first night race of the Cup Series calendar, Friday night and Saturday night, coming up under the lights of Martinsville.
Yeah. What's Cup? I'm just kidding. Yeah.
What's Cup?
Yeah. That'll be good. Rain tires have been tested as well. So the time, and I thought about that after we were talking Saturday, Bobby. Good timing right there. Maybe they'll. I really want that race to. I really want that race to happen at night. I don't want it to push over to Sunday. Well, actually, part of me wants it to push over to Sunday afternoon, but for the purposes of why they're doing it, I want it to happen on Saturday night. But we'll have to take a look at that. I do want to address something, because I know we've been having a lot of fun with the Corpus stuff. And I got to thank my man Joey Heineman. When Heineman's coming on, I'm thinking next week. And you want to talk about these pictures, when we pop pictures up and all this other stuff on the Facebook feed and on RevvedUpSportsShow.tv, man, we're going to have some good ones. But I was actually strolling through the pits, and here's the deal. So when we decided to do that, like we said, it was to honor the memory of the track and the fact that we're losing the track. But I ran into after the races on Saturday night, ran into Dan Monroe.
Oh.
And he called me over. He called me over and he said, "You got a minute? Nothing. I mean, not just conversation. And I think folks are beating up on Dan, and it's not. That's not the point of this. It seriously is not the point. It's to celebrate the history of the track, and Dan, seriously affected by this. I mean, there's a lot of years that he has invested in that track, so. I mean, I'll give you details, but guys, seriously, there's no need to beat Dan up on this deal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Dan doesn't like the fact that the track's no longer being operational either. But sometimes it just, what is it that saying is? Sometimes it is what it is, right? The different circumstances.
Yeah.
We don't know all the circumstances that went into the sale of CC Speedway, so nor do we want to.
I do, I actually do it, and I can. He's like, you use what you want to use. He said, just say, say what I'm telling you. Don't make up stuff. I mean, he knows better. He knows I'm not going to do that. But this has been it's a long effect of all of this happening. I mean, the track's been for sale for a while. I mean, that's no secret. And he's turned down, he's turned down opportunities to sell that property because they didn't want it to sustain as a racetrack. And you say, well, it's not sustaining as a racetrack right now. However, and I really understand this because being with what I do regularly, I'm in real estate deals and I see how stuff happens. It was somewhere in there, and again, it was kind of one of those gentleman agreement things. It was the Uncle Jesse spit in the hand thing, where it was supposed to stay a racetrack, but the outsiders got involved, and absolutely, we're going to keep it a racetrack, and then we see what happens there. So. The intent was there for him, but obviously it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. I mean, obviously that's the part of it. Sometimes you write enough real estate deals to know if there's a closing and there has to be something tied into it. I'm not sure how you write that into a contract.
It was
the
impossible.
track needs to stay.
Yeah, it would have been.
There wasn't an amendment on there, but I mean, it's a sad deal, and hopefully everybody hadn't been beating up on Dan. Hopefully Dan didn't think that was what we were trying to do, was beat up on him. We were just trying to honor the legacy and the joys of CC Speedway.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think he fully understands what the purpose of talking to these folks. Has been, but I think it's been, where other sources, other different means of whatever, how it goes with a situation like that. I mean, people are going to chatter and it's going to get back. And I truly felt bad for the man because, I mean, he's talking to me and he is looking me eye to eye. I mean, folks that know Dan, I mean, he's very matter of fact and to the point. Look, you can see the hurt in the man's eyes. I mean, it's killing him. I mean, it's killing him that this is happening. Not the other stuff. I think honestly the other stuff for people talking shit, I don't think he really cares. But he did want to set the record straight though. But the fact that it's going away and it's well known that, I mean, the bar burned down. So I mean that was apparently the source of income for he and Candy, and so that burns down. He loses that. They have rental property that was like destroyed by the hurricane, so they've lost all of that. Goes without saying he's had open heart surgery, and he said it himself. He's not in the best health, and when you factor all of that in, and the clincher of it all, Bobby, was really with the whole thing where it would stay a racetrack. Obviously, he was gonna sell it. He's gonna get paid, but he was going to. He took pennies off the dollar more than that. I know how much, but that part I won't talk about. He took money off to preserve it as a racetrack, and now it's going to shambles. So, anyway, it was just a conversation I think that he wanted that he wanted to have just to pass on, But it goes back to, don't beat up Dan and Candy. This is not their deal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Dan's been around racing a long time, and he's had a chance to see all the aspects of it. I mean, he's one of those. He took the leap that a lot of us don't. Not
That's
only
right.
just a promoter, but an actual owner of the racetrack.
That's
so
right.
that a lot of people think that it's easy to be a promoter till they're a promoter. A lot of people think it's easy to be a track owner till guess what? They're a track owner.
Yeah.
And so Dan got to see it from both sides and all sides, being a racer into the racetrack business. And sometimes it doesn't work out the way it should. We've seen that before with some other tracks going up in smoke, so to speak, when they try to get the slightest little bit of issue causes a lot of tracks to close down. And that unfortunately was one of the ones that put the nail in the coffin at CC Speedway.
Yeah, and it's we've talked about it so many times. I mean, and I was sharing with Dan, and I'm not free at liberty to speak to a lot of details, but still with the CTS thing, that there's a lot of maybe harsh words or blame to the demise of it, to the closure of it, that truly go to the wrong person. And it's a tough scenario there, but I do feel for him, because I could truly feel the hurt in the man. And when you see somebody hurting like that, I mean, that's when you know that it has had an effect, and you can feel it. If you have an opportunity and you run into Dan Monroe, talk to him. I'm talking to the watchers and listeners, because you'll feel what I felt. I was truly depressed when we got done. I was trying to get to Bruce Wright to get a Bud Light, and I got there and I had to get 3 after having that conversation with Dan, because it's tough, man. It's tough. But let's not beat up. And to the original point, when we talked to Joe, and it's fine. It's really fine. Like when we talk to Heineman or whoever, if they want to say, well, when Dan was promoting, some of the decisions and all of that, or calls, or the way that's fine. But when we come to Dan, this, that, and the other, let's not do that. And I mean, don't do it privately. I mean, we're celebrating the history of the place.
Yeah, celebrating the history of the place. Dan's kind of an open book. If you get a chance to talk to him, he definitely tells you like it is. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, he certainly does. So anyway, just wanted to talk about that, because that was a conversation there, and I was like, man, that really sucks. That really sucks. We got to talk about our man Jared Fryer. This dude. So he goes out there at what is that, Carteret County. Goes out and whips their asses. That one, I haven't gone back and watched any of that, but that looked like a tail whooping that Mr. Fryer put on those folks this weekend.
Every headline that I saw said dominates and annihilates field, regardless of which write-up you saw. So he definitely put the ass whooping on him. Not much highlights in that race, other than if you put it into the wonderful winning reel of Jared Fryer. So that utter domination in his late model stock car.
Yeah. So he wins that. And then I saw this morning, I'm actually looking at it right now, Jared Fryer will be driving the number 57 modified car owned by Brian Dezat at in the Wheeling Modifieds over at Martinsville. So yeah, people apparently noticed. That's the break he needs. That's the break right there that he needs, because we've talked about Jared. Jared's a little, he's just such a great driver, but he's just a good, cool dude. I mean, he's one of those kind of that Swiss Army knife thing. He does a lot of things really damn good, but he doesn't tell everybody about it. People notice it. But now that's an opportunity right there, where that Fryer kid gets in that car and does that on that platform with the Wayland Modifieds, and man, that's massive.
Well, that'd be a good way to kick off his modified career. Obviously, there's going to be all the heavy hitters of the modified tour. His goal is to put that piece on the trailer, I'm sure. And then if you can get a top 15, top 20 run out of that with the status of those guys, and you got a lot of the guys in the South, the Myers brothers and others that try to come race with those. And you saw it down at New Smyrna. They tear up a lot of stuff. Not the Myers brothers, but that tour type modified as a whole tore up a lot of stuff. So it'll be. I think Jared's number one goal is going to be to put that thing on the trailer in one piece without having to go back and fix something that gets torn up.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to give a shout out. I saw my man Butch Havelka, and again, like I said, that's another one that we need to get on here. I saw that he posted on something earlier where I said about the. I went and got the first dose of the vaccine today, and my wife had a little bit of trouble with the first dose, so I was a little, worried, whatever. But everything seems to be good. My man Butch got it too, so that's good there. So go out and do that. And again, I did it on Facebook. Williamson County I know a lot of folks that are like, Williamson County's horrible. I tell you that we may have troubles with the police department and hiding evidence and destroying police ID tapes and all these other things in this county. but we sure as hell ain't got a problem getting people vaccinated, because I sat there, Bobby, and that line out of Dell Diamond, you know how I get when there's lines. I'm like, man, 45 minutes, boom, out, done. It was fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, we sat in one of the lines there at CC Speedway, or not CC, Coda.
Same difference.
CC Speedway on the brain. Yeah, same difference. Sat in line at Coda to look at that line, but they finally are getting down to getting this to a science, so to speak. I guess both in the vaccine and in the way that they're administering these. So I imagine the traffic wasn't all that bad during a weekday, though.
No, it was super easy, the getting there part. But it's like once you get in there, I mean, because you go in the side door or side entrance there to Dell Diamond, and you just loop around, and they have this cone set up there where how you wiggle your way in there, and I'm thinking, oh man, this is a crap show right here. I'm cussing left and right, but dude, I flew right through. I mean, I was seriously amazed at how fast it happened. And sure as hell, I get an email later from the Austin medical thing. Oh yeah, you're eligible. Well, yeah, too late. Jake Wright coming
Guess I need to sign up for one, huh?
Seriously, dude. I mean, sign up in Williamson County. I guarantee you. I mean, you'll have to drive, but it'll happen pretty damn quick. I know I was on a Walgreens one, and hell, they didn't have anything. They actually, here's what you need to do. Anybody that's going to Edna and you want to get the vaccine, I actually looked last Friday and I put in Edna, Texas as the destination, and there were appointments available at CVS, Walgreens in Edna or near Edna. So if you want one, you might be able to get one in Edna if you just happen to be going that way. I see Bruce Wright already saying that Grandma and Miss Ellie are making enchiladas. Damn. Let's just let Jake talk. Send the enchiladas.
Right?
I'm having pizza tonight. Frozen pizza. Red Baron. I'm good.
We didn't have enchiladas at the Derby with him, did we? We just had the famous steak and the fajita. Didn't we do fajitas one night?
Tail, I don't know.
I don't remember.
You could have handed me dog crap and I would have eaten it then. No, we did not. The steaks, I know we had those steaks, those massive steaks. That was good stuff. Yeah, really, really good. But yes, Jake Wright coming up at 6:30 after a big win right there. Derek Griffith with the pass tour. Easter Bunny 150 kind of doubles up right there. That Derek Griffith, man, that's another one of those guys, Bobby, that we talk about, man. He just knocks on the door of so many of those big races right there. Maybe it'll have that like that Ty Majeski effect where he knocked on that door for so long and then boom was able to break through. Maybe that's what'll happen there, because Derek Griffith, man, that dude's really damn good.
He had a decent run going in the ARCA race at Daytona. That had that little mix up with Gracie there, and didn't go to didn't get a chance to have the finish he was looking for. But always a major player when he gets into either the pro late models or the super late models, just because we've seen it at New Smyrna again. All those times he's gone in and won the championships down there at New Smyrna, but going through and having a way to see that be it's a good deal. Hopefully, you're right with the Ty Majeski effect. If he keeps just pushing away at it, at some point he's going to get to push in the right direction and get the ride that he needs to move on up to that next level of the racing ladder.
Yeah, and there's just so many of these guys, because we can talk about him. I mean, even our guy Caden Honeycutt that was on here, a couple of weeks ago, and just with some conversations I was having with some folks over at the infamous Holiday Inn Holiday parking lot thing the other day. I mean, it's like there's just so many of these opportunities that are sitting here, and you just hope that when one of these young guys is earns one of these opportunities, that they'll be able to take it to the full to the max. And just because seriously, it is like we were talking about with Jared, Bobby. It seems like it just has to take that one, because everybody knows the resume of these guys. Like with Jared, again, everybody knows the resume. Everybody knows the Cars Tour Championships and the consistency and taking care of the equipment. Everybody knows that, but it's like it just takes that one breakout thing that just escalates people. And The other day, Carl Edwards was on TV, and he was talking about, the stuff that he would do and how he would hand out these business cards and all of that. And finally, he had that opportunity and made the best of it. And I think there's just so many of these guys and girls that we know that, man, they're just that one break away, man. And you just hope for the best. Asphalt and dirt. There's just so many of them.
Yeah, by the way, Caden Sport Mod is for sale if you hadn't got a chance to see that. So if you want a good piece,
the way that
car
the way
is
that one
set
ran,
up and ready to go.
Dude, the way that one ran at Hot 2 weeks ago, go get it. It's fast. It's fast.
Comes race ready with his setup minus his seat. So
well, hell, I wouldn't
get with Caden on that. That car has been wicked fast every time it's been on the racetrack. But and what it takes is, and it doesn't just take one opportunity. These guys and girls will have worked hard enough to get the one opportunity they had with them.
Exactly.
And so they just need. It's not so much the opportunity; they just need to catch that break. And we've seen them catch breaks, here and there in all different kind of series. All it takes is for that one person to catch it, and you just get that one ride, and it makes everything good, and everything moves forward after that. And that's what you want to see happen to Gracie and Jared, the hometown folks.
Yeah. And it really is. I mean, like Witchy says right there. I mean, you do have to bring the money with you, and it's a sad state of affairs that talent does not. I mean, you look at. For example, I was talking. We've had Robert Barker on here the other day. It's been a couple of months, but he was on. I was talking with him the other day, and as we were talking, we were talking about just racing in general and everything. And I was thinking where Robert Barker's one of those guys where, now he's older. He's an older guy. He's been doing this for so long that he just never he's getting great opportunities right now where he's aligned himself with some great folks that can help him. He still does much of it himself, but it's like Robert Barker's a guy where I go back and I think you have all of these natural talented guys that are sitting on these short tracks, asphalt and dirt tracks all around the country, and you have them sitting there that are so damn good, and they'll just never get the chance. They'll just never get the chance, and that sucks. But again, like you've said, Bobby, so well in the past, this is nothing new. The money thing is nothing new. Unfortunately, it makes the world go round.
Yeah, it does. It's always been that way. People forget about it. It's a little more prominent today.
And I don't mean to put that on you. I agree. I'm not saying that you say that. I agree. Yeah.
Well, it's always been there. Whether or not it was a driver going through to try to get a sponsor that went to a car owner, says, "Hey, I got this sponsor that wants to go. Do you want to put me in a car? We'll have this sponsor. This is how it's going to go." Yeah. So it's always been that way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Those enchiladas do look good, don't they?
Oh my God! Holy smoke! My God! I'm heartbroken right now, and I got to tell you, if you have never met, we'll ask Bruce. We'll ask Jake. If you've never met Grandma, that's oh my God, she is just the best. She is just the best. That's when the support systems and people that support all of the drivers. That's a great example right there. That's a great family, and so excited that they're doing really, really good things. And I saw a post there. Somebody put something about the Kruger cars, and in this case, a Kruger truck. And I tell you what, Jason Marshall put an ass whooping on those modifieds the other night. Man, he gets the Slazinski has some trouble, so he moves up to that pole spot. I don't think it mattered. That 21 car, dude, that son of a gun right there, it was flying.
He was on his own zip code for sure. He was definitely able to start checking out on the rest of that field. And a little on-track incident between Max Calles McDonald. I'll get it right. You were about to sit there and correct me. I knew that was coming. But yeah, him and I guess it was Logan Bearden in the 66 had a little on-track skirmish or whatever. Max got sent to the back, but that car was fast.
Yeah,
he come running up through there, but that would have been a great battle between Max and Jason Marshall there in that 21 car. But all in all, I thought the racing action was as good as it could have been. A little disappointed with the car counts with the trucks and the super stocks. Outlaws just, for whatever reason, they just can't get caught on. I don't understand.
I just don't get it. And that's something that Robert and I were talking about. That was really the depth of that conversation where he said, he's like, okay, I figured the Outlaws were going to catch on, and I thought they were. So that's why, with the old car, I converted, and that was kind of the plan right there. But it just, and I don't know, man. the more I was not the biggest fan of the Outlaws initially, but the more that I've learned about them and know the concept of them and how they came about and all of that, I mean, I really like that class, man. But it just doesn't. I mean, I know at Pensacola there's more. I mean, but to say that there's more than 5, you know, I'm not really saying a whole lot. But man, I just wish that there was a way for that one. I really think that class could be something special, but it's just not happening. It's just not happening.
The same thing could be said with the super stocks. I mean, you have a class that I think the problem is that some of those look like outlaws.
Yeah.
And the fans get confused, and I think that throws off the show a little bit. But the track still got to do something to get those two classes differentiated, whether or not they put an S next to the number for the super stocks or something. They got to do something to differentiate those two cars, because there was a lot of people that were asking me about why were the two cars split in half when they all thought it was the same car.
Frustrating with the super stocks I know Houston is a long ways away, and I mean I totally get all of that, but I mean it just at the end of the run there at Kyle, there were a lot of super stocks, and I'm not sure how much the rules have exactly changed on all of that. I've heard folks say, well, we need to go back to the Kyle rules for the super stocks. I'm like, get it close. Show up. I mean, show up, and I'm sure that Denny will figure out a way to put you on the track to where everybody can't win. Everybody can't win. That's the bottom line. And the super stocks to me is the one that's a little more frustrating. The outlaw one kind of disappoints me because it hasn't gotten, like you were saying, to where we hoped it would. The super stock one disappoints me because of where it was. And I know there was a 1.5 year layoff or whatever it was right there, but I know they're out there. I know they're not all on dirt tracks. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, honestly, and I hate to say this, I mean, my thought at one point was the superstock class needed to go away. But where, like Robert was talking about, now it looks like there's more superstocks than outlaws. So I don't know. I do not get it. Do not get it.
I've never understood it myself. I mean, there are a lot of them sitting in weeds and up on jack stands in and around Central Texas. There's probably a few of them sitting in Houston up on jack stands. So that's the one class. And we keep leaving out the eco stocks. I mean, there were 23 eco stocks.
They ain't got no problem. Yeah.
They ain't got no problem with Cartown. They probably should have run another 5 laps.
They ain't got no problem yet, but they will.
They didn't tear up a lot of stuff.
Well, but they will, because you had the incident with the car that I thought won, but you gotta grab a hold of that one right there. Now, there's your warning sign of how you need to reel that in right there. You need to reel that in, because that you can't let that get too radical. I mean, that's how you lose classes right there. It's a fun class. There's a lot of new drivers. I really like that. There's a lot of lady drivers in there right now, but man, you got to reel that one in before guys start doing things they're not supposed to be doing. Pretty
damn fast for a bone stock 4-cylinder. Mid 17s for a stock.
Too fast.
Supposedly stock 4-cylinder. So that is a surprise that those cars are that fast. But
tad bit too fast.
Who knows? Maybe they'll start implementing that claim rule, and some of those cars will miraculously start slowing down a little bit.
Somebody asked me why is it that the mini or eco stocks come in and they immediately start thrashing on their cars after practice. I said, well, maybe maybe something's wrong. I don't know, but we can have that discussion, because that's you got to watch that part. We're going to the Revved Up Sports Show hotline. We were talking about the fantastic weekend. We're still talking about that, but when it comes to the trucks, it was indeed just another great run by the man that was your state champion for NASCAR in Texas last year, and he started off on the same foot this year and made it look pretty damn easy. On the hotline is showstopper Jake Wright. Jake, how are you, brother?
How you doing, sir?
Man,
glad to be here.
Yeah. So has the afterglow wore off yet? Or I think you guys win, and you're celebrating until like May 29th, the next race.
Well, yeah, we're just kind of trying to regroup and get refocused. But yeah, no, we're just really looking forward to the next race and hopefully getting some more trucks out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so
we're really excited. Oh, I'm sorry, Bobby. Go on.
So talk about your off season, man. I mean, obviously, we've seen all the cool stuff you got for not only being the track champion, but you got the state championship stuff. You got like a driving suit, some really fancy gold cars, and some other stuff. What has that experience been like since you won the? I mean, winning the track championship is a great thing, but it's got to be even more special for you with all the NASCAR connections, getting all the state championship stuff as well.
I'm telling you, it was like Christmas in the off season, man. It was like every other week stuff was showing up. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of different things that come about. So, what was so what'd you get first? What was the first thing that you got?
The first thing, it was the Rookie of the Year trophy, and that was probably the nicest trophies on the shelf because that thing has a light under it, and you can turn it off and on like during the day.
Damn.
But no, it's awesome. Yeah, it's really nice, and all those trophies are nice. I mean, those three trophies, those glass trophies. Oh my God, hands down, nicest trophies I have.
Yeah,
period.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Hey,
it's awesome.
Hey, Showstopper, our man Boyette checking in from Florida, and he says the show stops at the Holiday Inn around daylight. So was that the case again? I mean, I had Easter stuff, so I left early.
Yeah, you did leave a little early, didn't you?
Yeah,
no, I think
bit.
it was about 5 o'clock. We didn't see the sun, that's for sure. Not that time anyway.
Awesome. Sorry, Bobby. Go ahead, man.
So talk about what changes. Obviously, your program was top notch during the season last year in 2020. What did you guys change much at all, or was it just normal days for y'all? I didn't get a new truck or anything, right?
No. I mean, it was actually kind of left it alone. We didn't even, because the last time we raced that truck was at Pensacola, and we didn't even change anything. Well, except for the gear, of course. But other than that, no. I mean, it's just like it was. It's solid piece, and and we got these tires figured out, and I think that was the main key this whole weekend was those tires.
Yeah, and I do want to ask you about that here at some point. But I do want to. We haven't gotten the opportunity to relive Pensacola. So let's talk about that for you, man. You guys go up there. You've never been there. Talk about the whole learning aspect of that track, and then on that stage being a part of the Snowball Derby.
Man, that was probably so far the highlight of my career.
Mm-hmm.
We were there 7 days, and I got to tell you that whole atmosphere is just absolutely incredible, and the track is just a completely other animal than what I've been used to. 3/8 miles, with Kyle and H&P, and with that half mile, and of course I raced in San Antonio once, but didn't really have good luck there or anything like that. But with this truck and that track, just what a learning curve for me and the team. I mean, we learned a ton, and we got fourth at a pretty respectable position. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, it's a great run.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So Jake, when you have the experience of Pensacola, obviously there was some partying going on and all of that. So what is it that makes that Derby so special? I mean, obviously, is it because the best of the best tries to come together and everybody's hanging out at the same time, or is it just that whole weekend? Because it seemed like the truck stuff didn't get as tore up as sometimes it used to get in the past when it was on like a Friday or a Saturday night. It seemed like the truck race was relatively tame.
Yeah, I think it's what you said first, where everybody, just the best of the best, comes together and just puts on a hell of a show. And I mean, from the trucks to, well, even the bomber classes, to the trucks to the super late models. I mean, they all put on a hell of a show. And there's just nothing like the Snowball Derby. It's literally the Daytona 500 of short track racing. And if you guys have never experienced that, you definitely need to, because it's nothing like anything you've ever experienced before.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do want to ask you. So how'd the whole thing come about with getting that eco on the track? I'll tell you what. Our man gets out there, and hell, he's on the podium in his first race. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. What's that all about, right?
Right.
Travis just pulled one out there.
Yeah.
Man, I got to tell you, that was all him. He got the car in the off season, and he worked on it, put a roll cage in it. And he's like, man, I'm gonna go racing. So put a little 48 on it. that dude, he went out and got a podium. I was like, look at that! Wow, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, he didn't get hit till the damn end of the race.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, he almost wrecked it there a minute, but he did a pretty good job saving it. I was like, ooh,
Yep.
hold on, yeah,
Yep.
buddy.
Absolutely. It's a great job by Travis.
Yep, good job, buddy. Good job.
So how does that make you feel when one of your team members builds a new car and actually gets to go out and have a little bit of fun, and they get inspired by you racing around in the trucks? That's got to be a cool deal for you as a team when your team starts branching out into other racing divisions.
Well, yeah, I mean, Travis has always been by our side for many, many years, all the way from Thunder Hill, and to see him do what because he loves this stuff, and I know he likes to race, and it really warms my heart seeing him come out of that car, and he just had the biggest smile on his face. He said, "I'm sleeping with that trophy." I was like, man, that is too cool.
Yeah.
That is too cool. So yeah, no, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, good for him. That was super exciting. So let's talk about those American racers. I know that change is hard. I totally get it. And I know it affects performance. I mean, depending what you're changing or whatever, tires are tough when it comes to that stuff. But from what I saw from you guys, I was keeping track on Friday night. You were faster than you were before, was the first thing I noticed. But talk about the weekend with the evolution of the American racers for you guys.
Try without getting too into it.
Yeah,
Don't want to
no
throw all the
details.
secrets
No
out.
detail. Yeah, well, yeah.
But like I said, I had a great crew. Have a great crew. They really know their stuff, and they figured it out pretty dang quick. And if we figured it out pretty quick, these other guys are gonna figure it out soon too. And it's not going to be long where the competition is going to be right bunched back up. I promise that. So don't be scared of these tires. Guys, it's not a bad deal at all. Yes, they're a little bad at first couple laps, but they do come in, and once they come in, they work. You just got to figure it out. I ain't gonna tell you.
Yeah. I heard a couple of secrets. Of course, I'll take them to the grave with me, like most of those. But yeah, I mean it. Yeah. I didn't see any lack of performance in your truck at all.
Yeah. No, that truck is it's a beautiful solid piece, and Jay Kruger and all of us, it's awesome. It's awesome seeing that truck perform the way it is,
Mm-hmm.
So Jake, talk about running again with Jake. What all did you guys do in the off season? I mean, obviously you said you didn't change the truck up a lot. Was that his decision based upon kind of keeping the program where it was? I mean, everybody had their championship rings, so there wasn't a lot of stuff you needed to change in the off season, right?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, we really didn't have much to change. So I mean, aside from the tires, the tires were the biggest challenge this whole off season, and it didn't take that long. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. So do you look at Saturday, and obviously that truck count was down, to what we're used to seeing. Do you look at that? And I mean, I remember the last time you were on, it was kind of the time where we found out Grant Thompson was going to go race with you, and we had all of that stuff going on. And I'm not telling you to talk shit by all means, but
no.
Do you? I mean, I think you welcome. I mean, because folks saw that. And I think you guys, I mean, you welcome anybody that wants to come on out and race.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, I welcome everybody to come. And whenever I say about these American racers, don't be scared, because I know a lot of people were skeptical about them, and don't be. It's okay. And I'm hoping the car count was because of Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
And yeah, but no, we need truck counts, and I know they're out there. Yeah. Just come on, guys. It's we need to count. We need to keep this thing going.
Mm-hmm.
Advance has put a lot of money into this. Gina, Bo, all those guys have done a tremendous effort into putting that whole program together, and we need to keep that momentum going. I don't want to slow us down.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just keep it going.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about Mobile a little bit. Obviously, when we talked to your dad at the Derby and a little bit this weekend, he's pretty pumped about running both tracks. You had a hell of a good time when you went to Pensacola at the half mile. Have you had any discussions about the stuff you want to do with this Gulf Coast Truck Challenge deal they got going between Mobile and Houston?
I'm definitely interested in it. We're gonna be going for it. That's for sure. I'm very excited about Mobile. Very excited. I haven't been on the track yet, but the next test session, I think we're gonna try to make it. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, we're gonna be running both. I think we're definitely gonna be running the Derby. I'm not exactly sure how many races in Pensacola we're gonna do this year besides the Derby. We're definitely doing that. But yeah.
Yeah. And I got to ask you, Jake, because I truly see this like what, and I mean, be very transparent. Obviously, I work with Gina, so I really see this truck thing as, we've got big series and all this other stuff for super lates. We've got big races, all this other stuff for pro lates. The trucks have been left out all the time. I just think that this traveling thing is something that could really, you get everybody in line. I think this is something that could really blow up into something cool.
It's definitely going to put the spotlight on the trucks, and that is going to be a key thing. Is because, like you said, we're going to be going to different tracks. People are going to be interested, and the trucks put on a really good show. They really do. Once you get the car count, there's a lot of talented guys that race in that class. And like I say, if we just put them out there and put them on the spotlight, I think they'll get more attention, more trucks, and it'd be a really cool thing in the future. I think.
I agree.
So Jake, talk about the difference in your experience racing between what little bit of you've done between racing in Pensacola and racing in Texas. Is there a different mindset from the guys out on the Gulf Coast? I mean, it seems like it's easier for us to travel out there to race with them than those guys traveling to us to race with us. I mean, is it something that we're missing? Is it they don't like Texas hospitality? Is there something missing? I mean, what do you think's the magic that's going to take to get those guys from the Gulf Coast to start running in Houston and Mobile?
For one thing, I know it takes a lot of money for us to go from Texas to Florida. Same thing goes for Florida people that go from Florida to Texas. The cost is going to be a factor, of course. That's the main thing right there, really. And it's going to depend. People go for big purses or something like that. You got these different incentives. You get a $10,000 to win race like last year. Of course, people are going to come. That would be worth it. But it's just going to depend. I don't know.
And I have to tell you, it's always been, and I'll speak opinion and then ask, whatever, when I do this, to not put you in a bad spot. But I mean, it's always been to me where maybe the folks a little further up the coast or over on the coast, they're a little more comfortable because they have, you got Pensacola, you got all the different places, where down here, we've kind of been left out. And I think that's the biggest thing, where they kind of feel, yes, they welcome us, but at the same time, they don't really care to come join us, it seems like. Kind of like they don't need us. And I mean that in a good way, because they've got stuff over there.
You're exactly right. They have options. We don't have options.
Well said. Yeah.
I just, it's tough. I'm thankful that Gina has Mobile, because that is an option, and she's trying to give us options, and that's what she was saying in the drivers' meeting, and I can't appreciate that more, because if you want to get your name out there or whatever, then you need options. And Houston Motorsports Park is it's not exactly in North Carolina where the spotlight is, you know what I'm saying, or Florida, the bigger tracks, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Excuse me. But yeah, so
totally get it.
So, Jake, you brought up the Carolinas. Let's talk about your little experience there in that pro late model with Corey Lovell. Did you learn anything new for that, or was that a totally brand new experience for you? What was your first thoughts getting your first foray in a pro late model?
I got to say, first off, thank you so much to Corey Lovell for even giving me that opportunity. That was an awesome experience going to Hickory. It was a completely different car. It handled so much better than the truck did, that's for sure. So I was just Cadillac. I was Cadillacing that thing. I was like, man, I'm not having to fight this thing going in the turn. Whew, Jesus, this is awesome. But it was a really cool track. It was a really cool experience. I had a lot of fun. I learned a ton from Corey. Corey's just such a good guy, and his wife Billy's just really good people, and I was just very blessed to be a part of it, and hopefully we can do more with them.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Definitely hoping so. So yeah, you were boss hogging around out there, just kind of cruising. There was I wanted to ask you, and I'm glad I remembered. So, because somebody posted something the other day, a picture of you with your Legacy, way back when, the 96 car. What do you think to see that Lone Star Legacy class with Jason and all of those guys doing so many good things? How's it feel to you guys that were kind of because you guys, the popularity of it, I mean, you guys did really well. To see that class come back alive and just see them doing so well.
Yeah, it's cool, man. We didn't have nearly the car count they do now. It's a really cool thing to see, and they put on a really good show. And congrats to my man Drew Simmenthal, old quarter midget buddy of mine. I remember racing with him when he was 7 years old at River City Quarter Midgets.
Crazy.
So yeah, no, congrats to that kid right there. He's a good dude. That whole family's cool people, and it's really good.
Great folks indeed.
So what is it for you? Like you just mentioned seeing all the old quarter midget guys. It seems like y'all are all. It seems like it's a hell of a way to start out racing quarter midgets, because that's where you got started. That's where Drew got started. That's where a lot of the the Hunter Montgomerys got started. The guys that we've seen grow up over the years. I mean, how cool is that to see still continue to race after all these years?
It's like we follow each other, ever since we were little kids. We just follow each other. Christopher Hogan, Hunter Montgomery, all those kids, we've raced light 160 senior Honda with each other. I actually flipped one time. I think I got into Hunter there going into like 3, and I never lifted because it was my first race in senior Honda. You don't lift, but in the light 360 you go a little faster. You got to lift. I didn't lift, and I just flipped that thing. I was like, ooh, lesson learned there.
Yeah.
But no, we go back a long ways, and it's just really cool to see how these other drivers have developed over the years. And Christopher Hogan did a really good job.
Yeah, he did.
The other night as well. He got 5th.
Yeah.
So
he was.
So
he was elbows up.
Good job to him.
He was doing really well. That's a good opportunity there for him. So how cool is it for you, Jake? Now that you're older, you're a dad. How cool is it for you? Obviously we've got Isaiah. We've got our mutual fan right there. But how cool is it for you, for all of these kids that come up to you, before, during, and after the races, and they just adore you. And now that you're a little bit older, being a dad, and the success that you're enjoying, how cool is that? Doesn't that really kind of circle it all back around and really tie it back?
It's really why, a lot of us drivers do this, to see those kids. And Isaiah, I mean, I love that guy. He's awesome. This is my number one fan. I love that dude. And to see those kids come up to me with a big old smile on their face after a race and just want an autograph or a picture, just talk to them for a little bit. It's a really cool feeling, because I know that I made their night, or someone else made their night. We're kind of their heroes, So we gotta make sure that we do a good job them looking up to us and stuff.
That's
so
right.
it's really cool feeling, man.
That's right. That's why.
Cool feeling.
That's why we don't invite the kids to the holiday.
Yeah.
They don't need to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
What's the joke? Don't ever meet your heroes. Don't ever see the heroes at the holiday, and that's how that works.
No. We just meant they might get hit with a beanbag, during the.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, we wouldn't want anybody to get hurt. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Come on now.
So Jake, obviously you won the title 2020. You're working on backing it up. You kicked off the season with a win right here. What is the goal for 2021? I mean, obviously another championship, and some NASCAR money is going to be pretty important. But with the opportunity to travel with the Gulf Coast stuff with Gina and Mobile, I mean, what becomes the bigger focus for you? Repeating at Houston, or trying to expand out the Jake Wright Motorsports brand in other states along the South Coast?
Well, repeating at Houston, I think, is definitely going to be at the top of the list. But our main focus as well is going to be Mobile, because I want to learn that track as much as I can. And I want to see how competitive I can get. And yeah, no, I think it's going to be a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of along the same lines right there. I mean, you come out, you dominate that race. Well, so let's talk about that race. So you guys take off, and I mean, walk us through that one. I mean, because just from what I could see, I mean, your truck did not skip a beat. I mean, anything. I'm not going to say you were in cruise control. I mean, you got out there, and it's so cool to watch you as a driver now, because you get out in front and you're just hitting your marks and doing what you have to do. But that race for you, how hard is it sometimes to stay patient when you know that you have a lead like that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I just gotta. How I took it was, just go in there and hit my marks and just be calm, cool. I knew I had a good truck. Yeah, just had to be, cautious. And whenever I had the opportunity to make my move, made my move, and just did my thing throughout the race. I mean, nothing to it really. Just easy in, easy off.
Yeah.
It was a really, really clean, smooth race for me. It was just a solid piece all weekend.
Yeah, really,
yeah.
Looked really, really good. Talk about before we cut you loose, Jake. Talk about all the good folks that help you out there. I mean, I know that there's just so many people that contribute to your team, and when you look at a great, Bobby and I always joke around about this show where it's a great overnight story, but it only took 10 years. I mean, your team, you guys are so good, but I mean, there's been pitfalls and speed bumps. Talk about all the great folks that make this possible.
I mean, it's team effort here. Sid's Martin Emergency Group for one, they've been tremendous throughout the year with us. Been so good. They're an awesome team. Blake Moore at the Moore Law Firm. He's a great guy, great lawyer, and I'm really happy he's been on board with us these past few years as well. Kruger Motorsports, Jay Kruger, of course. Dude.
Oh yeah.
I don't really have to say much, and you just got to look at it.
Yeah.
And Robbie White Race Engines for the great motor that he puts in. Spring carburetors. They build tremendous carburetors. If you ever need a really good carburetor, go to Ernest Performance with shocks. Oh my, awesome!
Mm-hmm.
And Buzzy Racing. Yeah, they got some good transmissions. So yeah, man, those people.
Yeah, absolutely. Tremendous run, dude. As always, man. It's we're proud of you, man. It's fun to watch it. It's fun to watch you win, but when you win them like that, it's even just a tad bit cooler. So, looking forward to more checkered flags, and go get that championship, buddy.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, guys. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely, my man. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
You bet. There he is, showstopper Jake Wright. And I think what I like, Bobby, is he's like, we need more trucks. You know what that means? It's like, come on. I mean, and it's a subtle, bring it on. It's a subtle, bring it on, guys.
Yeah, and it was interesting with all the races with the qualifying and the heat races and everything canceled, and everybody just ran off the pill draw. I thought that Jake had a really competitive race. Obviously, had a really good luck with the pill draw, but he was able to take control of that race in a hurry. In fast fashion as far as taking the lead on that. So it was a good night. Next race coming up, I think, is going to be May the 8th. So a couple of weeks out to get the stuff together, not a little less than a month out. So it looks like it's going to be fun. Hell, I might even be racing again.
And it's so funny with them, because to watch how methodical they are about what they do, and it's I mean they work on that. I mean they work, and then it's like so often you see them not doing anything, and it's like they're just doing maintenance. I mean it's maintenance that they're doing there. I mean they're checking the stuff. They're checking those fundamentals. I mean the important stuff, and that's really cool to watch how they operate.
Yeah, it really is a cool deal. I mean, they make it look easy, but if it was easy, everybody be doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great shout out right there is as Butch Bukowski notes right there. We'll talk about it here in just a little bit. Double O Bo Bukowski gets him a first place run there in that Double O. Good to see the Double O Bo back in victory lane. That's always good when Double O Bo's back in victory lane. But heading back over to the hotline, big show coming up at Texana Raceway Park this weekend. The Southern United Sprints, and that's this is, man, these are the ones that draw people, and that place is going to be packed to the max. And great show coming up, and it is Randy Waller that's going to join us, talk about and preview it just a little bit. Randy, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Absolutely. Glad to have you with us. Thank you for the time. So how's the season starting out for you guys? I know you got Texana, but you've already got one race in the can already this season.
We've got 2 races in so
two
far.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've had a great start. We've had a full field at both races. 20-plus cars at both of the races.
That's
Are you
awesome.
still there?
Yep, still here. Yep.
Okay. Looking forward to coming down there. Last year we had a good showing down there. We Owen always puts on a good track for us. My guys like coming down there and racing. They look forward to it every year. We always have a good fan count every time we come down there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all excited.
That's awesome.
So, Randy, what is it about sprint cars that make people love them so much? Obviously, every time people see the wings and they come out, it seems like the fans come out in droves. I mean, what can we put into words why people love sprint cars so much?
The biggest thing, I guess, is because we're different from any other class.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't weigh very much. We only weigh 1,500 pounds. So I guess we're quick, we're fast, we're loud, and we're different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Randy, talk about some of the top shoes that you have in the series this year. Talk about the guys that have already won and who folks need to be looking at this weekend there at Texana.
Well, I've had the same group of guys racing with me for 10+ years. You always want to look after the number 12 Trace fit. Dustin Welch is one of our up and coming young guys. Daniel King has been with me for a long time, the number 76. He's always one that's going to run up front. And the Harrises, we got Tyler and Jacob Harris that drive all the way from Beaumont to come race with us every race. Their dad sometimes races with us, and sometimes we get 3 for the price of 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Willie Reed is our upcoming new guy. He's been with us a couple years. He's the 3W.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just got to get his feet wet in the sprint car series. But he's young and he's excited and he's anxious to win.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a young one. He was our rookie of the year last year, Christopher Townsend. First year. This is his first year. I'm sorry. He raced one time with me last year. He's only 15 years old. So we're looking forward to him racing with us for a long period of time. And plus, we have the only lady in our series, my wife, Teresa Waller.
I was going to ask about her. That's right.
I can't leave her out. Yeah. But no, we look forward to coming down there every year. It's not that far from the Houston area. I know there's some people that travel with us from Houston, come down there and watch us race.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, last year, even with everything that went on, we had a good showing. There was a good fan count. And so this year even should be even better.
For sure. Absolutely.
So, Randy, what do the teams need to do to prepare for Texana? I mean, is it just a normal race for you all, or is it because it's a flat track? Do you have to change a lot suspension-wise and setup-wise, or is it pretty much every week you guys just kind of show up to the track and just run the same setup everywhere you go?
No, every track is different. Texana's got a little bit longer straightaways than what we're used to. The track has always been the dirt's always been great to us. We usually don't burn up any tires, but it's just different. For whatever reason, the guys just love it.
Yeah. It's a great little place.
Yeah.
Very, very racy place. So obviously Texana. Let's talk about the following week. So you go from that to that big old monster out in Page. Talk about racing at Cotton Bowl. That thing right there. That my goodness, big, fast, and wide.
Yeah, Cotton Bowl is a different beast. We definitely got to change our gears
Yeah.
to race at Cotton Bowl.
Yep.
We're driving a lot faster speeds. The drivers tell me at Cotton Bowl, with the speed that we're carrying down the front straightaway, the car does what we call winging over. It'll actually be planted to the right, and right past the flag stand, the car starts pushing down on the left side of the car.
Jeez.
Because of the speed that it's carrying and the wing doing its job. So it's a totally different beast, Cotton Bowl is.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a challenge for all of our drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we'll be doing time trials at Cotton Bowl
that's
for the
right.
first time.
That's right. Yep. Well, that'll be fun.
Give the fans something different to look at.
Mm-hmm.
The World Outlaws, they do time trials.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, forgot about that. That'll be great.
So, Randy, talk about running the series as a whole. I mean, everybody talks about it. Everybody thinks it's easy to be a promoter to racetrack or be an owner of a racetrack. That they think it's just easy where they just show up and flip on the lights and everybody shows up, right? Talk about it. Talk about it from managing a series perspective. I mean, what's a typical race week going to be like for you as you get ready, prepared to run down at Edna this week, starting from Monday all the way into Saturday?
Well, it's usually getting hold of all the drivers, trying to figure out who's going to show up. A series is totally different than owning a racetrack. I owned a racetrack for 18 years, as you guys know it, at Gator Motorplex.
Yep.
So it's basically the same routine over and over each week there. But owning a series, we have to communicate with so many different racetracks. We're at 8 different racetracks this year, and trying to communicate with new owners every so often, making sure that all the owners and all the racetracks make money when we show up. That's our main goal. We put on a good show. They make money. They invite us back.
Yeah, that's really the thing. I mean, you do a good job, and they definitely will do that. So so many folks, I've seen a couple of comments already. They talk about y'all's salute. Talk about that. I mean, how awesome is that when you see that happening?
You know, my drivers like doing the flag salute. They think that it's unique, and we've honored along with the American flag. We've done Army flags. We did a salute to a gentleman that came right all the way from El Paso last year, and we did a salute with the Army flag because he was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
The fans love it. Of course, I bring my little toys with me. I do a big fire cannon to try to keep the fans entertained. I got a few new gadgets this year that you guys will see at Edna.
All right.
Plus our fireworks. But we try to do something different all the time. That way, keep the fans entertained.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So how did it wind up? I mean, because we see so many, whether it be promoters, operators, whatever it is, where you're the operator and somehow the wife gets involved with operations. How did Teresa wind up in one of these fire-breathing monsters?
That's a good question. No. Teresa used to race stock cars when we were at Gator, and she was very good at it. She won a championship at Gator Motorplex several different times. So she wanted a new challenge.
Wow.
And then when I introduced the sprint cars in the Houston area, the Race Saver Sprints, she jumped right into a sprint car.
Wow.
And she's just a natural when she comes to racing. And I got to give her props. She's better than I am in a race car. So I'll let her do the racing. I'll do the promoting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well done. Good move.
I've learned a long time ago the
And
happy spouse runs the house. So Randy, that's good that you let her race what she wants to race. But you talked about some of the gadgets and stuff. I'm always curious when it comes to the fireworks. Like, do you just spend just a boatload of cash on New Year's Eve to buy fireworks for the full half season till you get the 4th of July, or do you guys buy those wholesale? How do you get all these fireworks? Because Rodney and I have been wanting to put on a huge fireworks show for a while. We just don't know when to buy them.
Well, years being the owner of Gator, I just made good contacts, and yes, I'm able to buy everything wholesale. And I usually buy once or twice a year and keep enough, for each one of our tracks that we visit. Plus, I'm kind of known for putting on a fireworks show at different racetracks. We had a good showing every year at Gator, and last year we did one at 105 Speedway in Cleveland. So people just come out to see my fireworks, and I'm kind of proud of them. But, I'm always trying to figure out something else to do to entertain the crowd. And you guys the fans will like the new gadgets that I've come up with this year.
I love it. That's awesome. So, speaking of Houston and 105 and so forth, we were there Saturday night. We saw a sprinter out on the pavement doing some pace laps there, and we were talking that one up about the next couple of races there. Your thoughts of bringing those beauties over to the pavement, maybe over at HMP?
Yeah, at HMP, Gina had contacted me about running the sprints there. Actually, that was Teresa in that sprint car that was making laps. And so we're trying to put together something. It's not going to happen this year, but maybe in the future. It's such a big expense for us to switch over from dirt to asphalt, but it's not out of the question. I think we'd make a good show in there, but it's just going to take a little time to make that happen. But the drivers are looking forward to something like that, and so am I.
Yeah, certainly not easy. Totally understand that.
So, Randy, talk about the rest of your schedule. Obviously, we got these two big Texas two-step events coming up here with the race at Edna, and then you go to Cotton Bowl. What's the rest of your schedule look like to kind of recap the first portion of your 2021 schedule?
Well, after Cotton Bowl, we'll be back at the 105 track in Cleveland. We'll be at the I-71 in Leesville, Louisiana. We'll be at Sabine Speedway in Manning, Louisiana, and we'll end up down at Corpus in May. We're looking forward to going down there, and we're also trying to put a big show at the end of the year. It might be at the Leesville track, I-71 Speedway in Leesville. But then we'll go back to Edna. We'll be back at Edna again. So we try to hit at least every racetrack once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So we still be that way. We're still a special event, and the people will come out and watch us.
Yeah, and they are. I mean, it's. I mean, you guys just draw so well. So quickly before Randy, before we cut you loose, for folks that may be checking in, so your sprint cars. I know we talk about 360s and 410s, and obviously you've got wings and all of that. Your cars. What are the Southern United sprint cars?
We're a 305 Race Saver. It's a 305 sealed motor. We're making about 450, 460 horsepower. We run on methanol, just like the 360s and 410s. But it's economical.
Right.
That's what makes this class so successful. And this will be my 11th year doing the Race Saver sprints. And we're nationwide. Wow. So we can go race anywhere in the United States that runs Race Saver sprints. So that's what makes this class so good.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So, Randy, I look forward to. I'll actually be I'll actually be the announcer this weekend down there at Edna. So I'm looking forward to a really good show, really good car count, and put on a good show for the fans. Rodney will actually be the announcer when y'all come up to Cotton Bowl. So it's good that you checked in, and we're looking forward to a couple of really good shows from you and the guys and gals you got with the touring series. So we look forward to it.
We thank you guys very much, and we're looking forward to this weekend.
Absolutely. Best wishes, Randy. We'll talk soon, sir.
All righty. Thank you.
You bet. Take care. There they are. They're fun to watch, man. They are fun to watch, and it's you're so right, Bobby. Where it's like you say sprint car, you say sprint, and I'm learning on the dirt side. I mean, late model ain't far behind. Late model is not far behind.
Well, I think it's funny when you say sprint car. We now have to be. We've been on the dirt stuff long enough. You now have to be more specific, like you said, 410s, 305s. 500s, whatever the hell they can be, as much horsepower as they want to put in there. But he's got a successful component. I didn't actually realize that they were national, that they could run national as long as somebody that has the rules with the 305 race sabers. I didn't realize they could go national.
I didn't know
that's
that
good
either,
to know.
Man. And it's so weird because like when the Bandit Outlaws were over at Hot at Waco, they were talking about where they a lot of their savings, saving some of the expense is with tires, and I tell you, and that's where, not that it gets frustrating, but at times when kind of tying this back to pavement is you've got all of these series that do extremely well, and none of them are lacking for participation, and we hear Jake Wright talking about, well, we need more trucks, and we're sitting here trying to figure out super stocks and outlaw, but it's different. It's totally different things. But those sprints, man, that's going to be a lot of fun. I think folks are going to be entertained there. I mean, because Texana, that is a racy little joint. They're going to be scooting around that place.
I'm looking forward to it. As long as the numbers on the roof are I can see them, then I'll be able to call them. It was a little rough a couple of weeks ago with the tiny numbers on those 600 sprinters. So as long as the numbers are in a good position and I can read them, hopefully I'll be able to call a pretty good race. Anytime you have sprint cars out there, sometimes the sprint cars sell themselves. So people won't hear me talking as much as they will, the sprint cars roaring down the speedway. So I might be okay with that.
Yeah, I was doing a sprint race. I forget where it was. And somebody walked up during a caution and they were like, "Can you talk louder? I can't hear you." I'm like, "Dude, if I talk any louder, I won't talk for like 2 months." I mean, it's like it's hard. I mean, it's really hard, but it's going to be a great show. And like we said, you've got the non-wing sprints over at Heart of Texas. Cotton Bowl is racing, so we've got a lot of stuff happening, man. It's really cool. It's really cool that we're getting out and being able to do this again.
Yeah, it really is. With the limitations in 2020, with some of the pandemic-related stuff and the shutdown, just being able to go out and enjoy. So far, I hadn't had any weather delays. Hopefully, we don't have any of those for a while. No weather delays. Even in Houston, it was a lot of questions about whether or not the rain was going to come or not. But everything I've seen this weekend looks like it's a typical mid-spring, summer-ish type of weather. So it should be a lot of fun with the weather cooperating. And I don't know. I think Owen's going to have that track ready. That was one of the compliments that Owen kept getting when we were there a couple of weeks ago there at Texana, that he was talking about how well the track prep was. So he'll make sure they don't burn off any tires. That's for sure. Owen puts a lot of heart and soul and love into his track prep.
He really does, and I mean that's a cool part to watch as we've started to learn more about this. Is when you get to guys like Owen and the folks at Waco. I mean, they've got a whole crew that does this, and then like with HE over at Cotton Bowl, where that is like their that's like their baby right there. That's their pride and joy right there. It's like that's the one thing they're continually watching. And for me, it's funny with HE because all the years of him being a pavement guy, and now to see him, it's like he's always sitting there looking at the track, and he'll just stand out there. We were doing some stuff the last time that I was out there. And they did some video. Race on Texas did some video where they had this amazing video of HE just like looking out into the horizon. And when I figured out exactly when they did that, I'm like, he's checking his track. So it was like a Little House on the Prairie moment. But what he was doing was checking his track to see when he needed to go, water the high side or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, no, he puts his heart and soul into that racetrack too. Robert Stewart helps them out, and they do a pretty good job there at Cotton Bowl. There's only so much you can do to keep down the dust, but with the way that track's laid out, with the I love Cotton Bowl to death, but I still think the stands were built on the wrong side.
Bass backwards.
But yeah, a little bit. They didn't totally think that one out, or it must not have been breezy when they were out there trying to design the track. But
well, yeah, that wasn't built by it wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, it was a great idea that they did it, but it wasn't. Maybe they didn't think that part out. If you know the whole story of how that was built, it was just kind of one of those things where they built a track. But
I want a racetrack. I'm building a racetrack.
I want a racetrack. That's exactly right. But they're doing a really good job out there. All these tracks, and I was messaging with our man Phil Whipple the other day. And so can you believe that yesterday? He was telling me that I'll have to go back in here and look, and I'm going to do it right here while we're still kind of going on and on about this. There was a track that was at Monarch on Saturday night. So get this, Monarch Motor Speedway, 6 factory stocks. I'm like, what?
That's it.
That's it, 6, and it's like that. There's a little bit of a bridge there between what's going on in North, and he kind of, and I started thinking about this when he mentioned this, because you do have, so think about with dirt, you've got North, which is where that track is, and then you've kind of got the boundary line, which I would say is Waco, and then you've got South, and it's to kind of pull all that together. But where I think that folks may not understand that part about it is, like with a lot of places you can go and you drive 300 miles and you knock out, the Pensacola drive. You drive 300 miles and you knock out 4 states. Here, you drive 300 miles and you get from here to Dallas, and then you still have every other which way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a part of it too. You got to throw in East Texas. I think East Texas has their own set of rules too, and the way they do stuff. But I have noticed, we talked about the allure of the factory stocks, but I think they had 25 of them in Edna, and I think they had 17 or 18 at I-37 a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, they had a full field for the World of Outlaws support show there on Friday night, but maybe the factory stocks have finally slowed down a little bit. Who knows? I don't know. That seems surprising that the 6 is unheard of. That's a B main in most places.
It's hard to say. One of the things that Owen and I talked about the night that I was there with him, because we were down, and I think we were down. We only had 24, 25 there at Edna, and we were talking about, remember last year we started in May, so this is a little early. But the ones, the modified is the one that I keep going back to. But that's where, like you're saying, the popularity of the factory stock, that's where we lose some of the guys. But I'm really starting to see a resurgence again in those limited or sport mods, limited modifieds, whatever. I'm really starting to see those really start to trickle up again. So it's weird, the dynamic of dirt and the iStocks. The damn IMCA stock cars are the ones that just seem consistent all the time, where it doesn't matter what happens, they're pulling 18 to 20 of them.
That's really all you need to put on a good race. Obviously, it's great when you have a pit full of 25, 35, 45 cars, for one class. But I mean, a good solid 18 to 20 cars is a really good field. Nothing wrong with starting 24 in a class, but I mean, a good solid 18 cars that are all, with your top third able to win a race, when you got a possibility of 12 out of the 18 guys able to win any kind of given race on any weekend. That's just the right number of cars for a good show in a class at a dirt track.
Mm-hmm. And that's, the other night, at Houston, and we allude to it all the time, where, 20, 25, 30 cars is great, but I mean, it's very possible to have 12 to 14 and have a really, really good race. But I don't know. I do wonder about, with the factories, because we do see, like you said, those numbers are, I mean, they're trickling down a little bit, but it's so funny because each track kind of has their, Texana has their group of factories. Waco has their group of factories. Obviously, Cotton Bowl does. And again, we're talking about the South. And we would love to bridge the North with the Central and the South. And that's where we need to get, we've talked to the RPM folks. I mean, we need to get more acclimated with what's happening up there, Kennedale. I mean, all of that stuff. But each track kind of has, with the factories, they kind of have their own little their base. And then when there's a big event or whatever, that's when Dalton Faulkner and all these other guys come rolling in. And I see Faulkner racing over at 105. I mean, so it's that one there is really one that's interesting to watch, and it's going to be interesting to watch for about the next 3 years to see what path it takes.
I think so. We've talked about it before. There's a lifespan of a class is generally anywhere from 3 to 8 years. The way things are going now, racers. I saw this the other day on one of the street stock pages that we follow. Right, the guy was talking about a bomber class, and he posted this really radical looking and aftermarket dirt body that he put on this bomber. And another guy said, "Well, this is what a real bomber looks like," and it was an old big body Monte Carlo. Back at late 70s Monte Carlo. And the guy was like, "Oh, well, I put this new body on it to get the track's attention so that we can start running new bodies on these cars." It's like, well, if you want to spin the body and run a street stock body, move your ass up to street stock.
And honestly, that's where we were having that conversation a while ago about the eco stocks. I mean, if you really want to start doing all these tricky things, and you want to really, there's always going to be a gray area, no matter what the class is. But to me, the gray area is more. The gray area needs to be achieved or tested more in those upper echelon classes. I mean, because honestly, for me, I put myself in the spot of the aspiring racer in the grandstands, where if I go and I'm thinking about being in a mini stock or an eco stock or whatever you want to call, whatever the entry level is going to be, and I go out there and I go every race and I'm seeing the same guy whipping everybody's ass, and obviously much faster, that's a deterrent. And it's very hard. It's very hard. I don't do tech. I couldn't. There's no way. The only thing that I could tech is, there are 4 tires, and I guarantee you people would find a way to cheat that too. But it's hard, man. It's hard. But and I think again, another great post right there. You got to keep your rules consistent, but the second part of that is you got to enforce everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's one thing to have a really good set of rules. It's another thing to have a really good set of rules that you enforce. That goes a long way towards making a successful class and a successful program, is when you have rules that you can enforce.
Yeah, and that's where I'm really starting to figure out with the 4-cylinder class over here, wrestling around with stuff, where there is now a distinct difference between entry level beginner versus economy. Because there's 2 sides of the argument right there, because you have the beginner, the entry level, where folks want to start, and then you have where folks say, well, no, I'm in this because it's an economy class where it's a little more affordable. Well, I'm like, well, yeah, it's more affordable, yes, but if you're comparing it more affordable to an outlaw or to a sport mod, yes, but don't spend the money that you're going to spend on one of those. And not that they're doing that, maybe not quite to that volume, but it's tough, man. But it's the same old shit. I mean, nothing is different. It just used to be that we used to do this with the bombers you're talking about. I remember back when my dad first started racing, they had the street stock and the novice street stock. Like, it's the same car, but it's, folks that aren't quite as experienced. I've seen that pop up at 37 with the factory. So it's racing, man. It's racing. It's like 410 in San Antonio. It just keeps going in circles.
Yeah, and then you get the high rollers that want to run on 1604. But I think part of the problem though is that the reason some of these eco stocks are getting so fast in Houston is because there's not a next level class. The next level up from an eco stock in Houston is a super stock. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's been discussions, and I'm sure Gina wraps her head around it every day, trying to figure out to get a mid-level class between an eco stock and a super stock. But if anybody's got the right ideas, Gina's phone's always on. She's always taking phone calls. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing is, where it's so, because like I've said it, we've talked about it, where the factory stock would be the great stock class edition, let's say, at Houston. But again, an aspiring racer to come out and I'm just throwing names out, to come out and run with Dalton Faulkner or Tim Homeyer or all of these guys, you ain't gonna do it right out of the damn grandstands in that class, because those guys they're just good. I mean, they're just really good. But and Gina checks in. The Eco Stock at H&P is successful because of fans coming out of the stands to race. I mean, the guy that nobody can beat. The guy that nobody can beat right now, Will Planter, won that damn car. I think it was a raffle. And he got out and he said, okay, this car's not going to quite do what I need it to do. And so he got something better. Had a great conversation with him, as a matter of fact. And he is doing the path that ideally, if you can, that you do. He's obviously going to run this year, but he's looking to maybe go to a truck. He's looking to maybe go to whatever. But again, that's where the resources come in, where it's beginner versus economic. And they say people are different. We all react different to everything. And that's just what happens right here.
Well, I think the Eco Stock is still a claim class. So let a couple of cars get claimed, and I bet they won't be near as fast.
Well, there's that. And a lot of folks, I know a lot, on the IMCA side where there's claims, because that's some of the stuff that I've really researched and just trying to learn how all this stuff works. And it's like, well, not that you wouldn't claim, but it's kind of one of those, maybe a gentleman's thing where you wouldn't be doing that or whatever. But that's really how you tie it in. I remember back in 1985, Terry Brooks was whipping everybody's ass at San Antonio Speedway in the street stock class. They had a claim rule. I think it was $850 or $1,000. They had a beat up old Nova, which, by the way, was worked on by Leroy Brooks. That car got claimed by A.J. Padalecki. He claims the car at the beginning of the night. Terry Brooks is out there running the feature race. 2 laps ago, the engine blows up. Somebody may have told him that was coming. I don't know. But A.J. Padalecki went home with a $850, $1,000 blown up Nova.
Mm-hmm.
So
at the track, don't let anybody take it home on a claim class. Load it up on your own trailer.
Yeah. It's and George checks in. Terry Brooks, the man with a plan right there. I mean, and that was one of those stories. We go back to, you remember Junior Johnson, Darrell Waltrip, 1985 at the Winston. Oh man, there's got to be something wrong with that engine. Boom. Oops, it blew up, disintegrated.
Mm-hmm.
So
can't tech what they can't see.
So I think that's some of the fear there with that and the gentleman's agreement. But you're right. That's a class where truly, that's where you use that claim. That's why it's there. It's in place for exactly that.
Exactly. As much as I would never wanted to give up the high five, if somebody tried to come and claim it, well, I guess that's the point of it. You just get a chance to build another one.
Yeah. But it's crazy. It's crazy. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of that rule, because I would hate for somebody to take my shit. But especially if like back in those days, what is the claim? Do we know?
2250, I think. I'm sure they'll correct us on the Facebook. I think it's a 2250 claim rule. It's pretty high.
Yeah. If the claim was 2250 and I'd spent $6,000, I'd be pretty irritated. But
But it would keep you from.
That's why you don't do that.
$6,000.
That's why you don't do that.
Yeah.
That's why you don't do that. And not that I don't think any. I don't know who may not be on the list, but it's for the sake of competition. That's why you do that, because it hones everybody back in, and then there's that little bit of fear right there. And the nice thing about the eco stock and kind of with the factory stock and so many of these, kind of even with like the NASCAR at the dirt the other day, puts it back in the hands of the driver. You start changing all these packages, and that's really what you really want the racing to come down to the driver, to the guy with the balls in the seat, and that's I think we've just opened up a Pandora's box on this thing.
Yeah, I think so. We hit the hot topic at the end of the show instead of the beginning of the show.
But and that's really because back in those street stock days, you did. There was people they claim their stuff, and I think at one time it was $1,500, but I don't know. That's really how you control that. Because you can say
that's why the Grand Stocks in Kyle were called the Grand Stock, because it was $1,000 to claim them.
Grand Stock that began to cost $4,500, and that was.
Mm-hmm.
And I know. I know it's for fun. It's a fun class and all that shit. But you don't need. You don't need Paul White racing in the in the grand stocks or anything like that. Not that he ever did, but I mean that's again where you go to the people in the grandstands are like, ooh, I want to do this, and here comes Greg Davidson rolling out in the grand stocks. Hell, I know I ain't beating him.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not beating that guy. So anyway, I don't know. Take that for what it's worth, but reel that thing in, guys. Keep that class fun. Don't let it get out of hand. That's really what we're saying. Don't let it get out of hand. Preserve what you have. There were 20 whatever many cars over there, and most importantly, Bobby, like you told me on Saturday night, I didn't know this till you told me, there were 7 rookies. And what you want
there's a bunch. It might have been more than that, but there were 7 rookies that I heard of.
Yeah, and what you want in the beginner or economical class, whatever the hell you want to call it, is you want new people, because that's shit. I mean, that's what breeds your new guys. I mean, look at the people in the higher classes. I mean, there's people that started in that class.
Yeah, I mean that's where everybody starts. I mean, it's a little different now with the 4 cylinders. A lot of people don't start at the 4 cylinders, but everybody started at an entry level class. I shouldn't say everybody. Most everyone that's up in the upper echelons now started in the beginner level class at some point at their local speedway. So who knows? I mean, the next big thing might be racing eco stocks right now.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Speaking of speed, got to end telling you all and you, Bobby, a funny story. I was going to text you this yesterday, but last night, but it was too long to text. So I'm sitting at the house yesterday, and I get a phone call from my wife, Tracy, from her boss, and great guy, good guy. His name is Dennis Focus, Alpha Granite, and so he recently went out, and his dream car has always been to own a Alfa Romeo, which I'd be good with that. I mean,
yeah,
wouldn't you?
They're good cars. Yeah, they're good cars.
So he purchased one. He purchased one, and it's 3 years old. It only have 15,000 miles on it from a dude in New York. And I missed a call from him, and he called my wife, and he said, "Hey, I'm about 5 minutes away. I want to come show the car to Rodney. She's seen it. She's actually been in the car and taking it for a ride." So he shows up here and he says, let's go out driving. You drive. I'm like, when somebody hands you the keys to a chariot, it's one of those things where, if somebody came up to me, if Jason Marshall came up to me and said, "Hey, you drive my number 21 this weekend," you'd be a little apprehensive. You kind of be a little gun shy, right? I mean, don't want to mess it up. So he's like, "Let's drive it around your neighborhood." And so we get out on the one. I'm not going to name streets. We get out on one of the streets, and he's like, "Punch it, go ahead and press the gas." So I hit the gas, and we go in like, seriously, 2.5 seconds from 0 to 80. So he tells me to go on one of the major thoroughfares here in Austin or over in Austin. And so we're cruising. He says, "Punch a gas." And so I did, and we went faster than that. So anyway, needed gas. So we go and get gas. To make a longer story longer, we get gas, and we come out of the gas station, and I'll tell you the street we come off of, and there's a feeder road to get you off of Howard Lane onto Mopac. 4-lane wide Mopac. Sunday afternoon, nobody's around. He said, "Punch it." Bobby, I hit the gas on this thing, and I shit you not, in less than 4 seconds, we go from 50 to 144 miles an hour.
Damn.
And
Good thing there wasn't no cops around. You're the only ones there on Mopac, huh?
I looked. We're going to the flyover, and he's like, "Are you going to slow down?" I'm like, "I think this thing can handle that flyover." He's like, "No, slow down." So, highlight of my weekend right there. Those Houston races were fun, but I said that I've been trying to stay out of a race car because you know what happens when you do that stuff. But shit, I was in a race car yesterday. Damn, that was fun. That was fun.
It sounds like it.
He told me afterwards, he said, "You're crazy." I said, "Dude,
I've ridden with you before. I know how fast you like to drive."
I told him, "You should see when I wreck." He said, "Don't wreck my car." I'm not sure I'll get to drive that car again. Anyway, funny story right there, but that was good. All the listeners quit after that. But anyway, moment of glory. That was my weekend.
No, that's all right. It makes for a good story. But yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll get to race a couple of cars there at H&P. Talk to a couple of people. Talk to a couple of car owners.
They won't go 144.
No, they won't. They won't.
If they do, I'm claiming your damn EcoStock. If yours goes,
that's right. If it goes that damn fast, yeah,
I will pay the whatever you said it was, $22.50.
I think it's 2250. I'll have to go back and look in the rules, but
Yeah, car might get claimed next week. Good job by the Revved Up Sports Show. But yeah, I hope you do. I hope you get out there and get after it. And I think you're going to have a fun weekend over at Texana. Obviously, the class, your car count's going to continue to grow there because, like Owen said, it's earlier than it was before. So I think everything's going to be good there. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. Y'all are going to put the asses in the seats for that race.
yeah, there should be lots of lawn chairs there on the front stretch. So looking forward to a good weekend, and who knows, maybe we'll get a chance to have a really good show and make a highlight or two there, as long as nobody ends up flipping it over or anything like that. Hopefully, it's not a full moon.
No.
I don't think it. I think the full moon was the last race out there a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to going back down there again. The fans are pretty open and receptive last time, so I'm hoping to be the same thing this time.
Absolutely. I'll be headed over to the Waco on Friday night, and then I actually will not be working on Saturday because we've got a little bit of a trip planned. So I actually will not be Saturday. Obviously, you can check in with us on the Horn. Presented by AMM Collision, by the way, hornfm.com. Check us out on Saturday morning. But then I'll be off the grid for a little bit, so looking forward to that. But everybody, enjoy your race weekend, and hey, great to be back on the pavement. Great to be back on the pavement this past week. It's always fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Looking forward to some more good racing there at H&P, and it was a lot of fun and good racing. And now that the dirt's rolling, we are starting to get knee deep in racing action all across the Lone Star State. So it's gonna get a lot hotter here in a little bit. And when it gets hotter, that's when it gets a little more fun. That's
right. That's when the tempers get hot. Thank you, Joyce. That is the reason that I'm taking a couple of days, at least a day, away from the racetrack. But I'll probably find a way to watch the night race there at Martinsville. That'll
more
be
than
fun.
likely.
Yeah.
I didn't want to spoil the surprise. I didn't want to spoil your birthday. I didn't want to tell everybody it was going to be your birthday.
That's all right. We'll deal with that. We'll deal with that later on in the week. But great program. Thank you to the showstopper, Jake Wright, for being a part of our show tonight. Thank you to Randy Waller. Looking forward to a great show over at Texana. Thanks to everybody for checking in. Great crowd tonight on the old Facebook feed.
Always fun time with the interaction on the Facebook feed, so I can't miss it. Remember, if you're listening there on Facebook, hit the subscribe button. You'll know every time we go live and post new content on the YouTube page.
That's right. RevvedUpSportsShow.tv. For Bobby, I'm Rodney. We'll catch you next Mondays. #Real Race Talk from Texas.